you people to understand this. If you don't understand this one, the people may not, when you go for the further executions of these things, may not understand that. And when I ask you to go through that video, if you gone through that video, so that now this session would be much more easier for you to get understand on this. So that's the reason I asked you to go through that one. And I quickly okay, so let me start here. Okay, so the first one is the answer. The first one, we wanted to know that why Java? So why not any other languages? Or what is the purpose of why we need to learn only the Java? So the first you need to understand is it is about the popularity and high salaries for this. So why everyone will learn for Java? So we do have a lot of languages. You have C, C++, Python, C Sharp, .NET, PHP, or JavaScript, SQL, Ruby. So we do have a lot of other languages, right? So when you have all these languages, why we need to learn Java? So this is the graph which you can see it. So rather than saying me, so you can see this is one of the popular community. So which gives this complete information about the programming languages. So Taibi. So now this one. So these have given this particular statistical data in 2018 because they have been released for 2021 also, but I don't have that particular statistical data. So usually they will give it for 3 years or 4 years. So now if you see here, starting from 2002 till now, almost all every place, so Java was in the higher place. Slightly it has been dominant by C, but wherever you are seeing here, so when you compare to any other languages in the market, so Java was a popular language. And you know what? If you learn Java, learning other languages, it's very easy. Believe me. So once I learned Java, then I started to learn Python, Ruby, C Sharp. It was pretty simple, pretty simple. There is because Java is a standard and it's a structured language. So as it is a so structured and these things, so now if you learn something hard first, then whatever the other things are there, you'll feel it is simple, easy, right? So the same thing when you start learning the other languages, you can learn it. And believe me, so once I learned Java, within a day I learned Ruby. Only one day, because almost all the concepts and everything is the same, not big differences. So that always you remember that if you learn one language, learning other languages are very much easier. And that to learning Java, if you why we have that importance is it is so organized, so structured, so that if you learn this one, learning other languages are very simple and easy. And now the most important another factor is it is having the high salaries. So don't for this particular numbers, but this is the statistical data from the other countries, US, UK. So from their particular countries, what is the minimum paid salary for a 3 to 4 years guy? So this is what the salaries which they will be paying for that. So that is where the Java is very popular as in terms of usage and as in terms of community. As if you have any particular question, if you post it into the forum, into the Google, so within next minutes you'll get the answers. There are many forums, almost all many things already available in the Google itself. So that is the reason. So Java is so popular and then high salary. So that's the reason the people would be trying to take more and more options, and then they wanted to learn on this. The second pointer is portability. So portability is nothing but actually we will be discussing about this one in terms of JVM. So portability means, for an example, now I can take this one and then keep here, and I can, for an example, there is a big box. Now that box, just I can simply lift here, lift and shift. So I'll take this and then I can keep it there. And from there, I can keep it here. Or from here, I can keep it there. So now that is how, once you have written the code, so now that particular code can be lifted and shifted into any particular languages. So now either it into the Mac OS or into the Windows or Linux. So you need to, this is called Aura. I think even that is also one of the thing which we can say it. So write once and execute, read anywhere. So means you can write in one place and then you can execute in any place or read any place. So that is the reason. So Java is so portable and so versatile. Versatile means it can be adaptable to anything, and it is so secured and it can be used anywhere. So that's the advantage of Java. So now we can write one code and it can be executed in any operating system. It's not that only it should be executed, because few languages previously it need to be executed only, it restricted to certain platforms. Now these are called as, always you remember that these terminologies, these things are called as platforms, means your operating systems. So these all things are called as a platform. So now Windows platform, Mac platform, Linux platform, and Ubuntu platform. So these all things are called as platforms. Now Java can be executed in any of the platforms, and it is so versatile in nature. Versatile means so it can be adopted to any changes, and it can be acted as any ways. So that is called as versatile. So now that can be used in any part of that particular domain. So it can be used as this particular programming language can be used. Now, the next most important concept is OOPS, object oriented programming language. So now what do you mean by object oriented programming languages? So anyways, I'll first talk about programming language, right? So I think whether I have the slide for that. Okay. Programming language. Okay, what do you mean by programming language? First of all, because we have been seeing all these things are programming languages, I should have been introduced here itself, even nevertheless. Now we do have all these things are called as programming languages. What do you mean by programming language? What do you mean?
Set of instructions given by system and the human. Set of instructions.
Awesome. So now that we, if you've seen in the video, I think I have been explained in detail about it. Example, now I'm talking to you people. So when I'm talking to you people, you should have some common platform, some common language. Imagine that if I'm talking in Chinese now, will you understand? All will just will get out from this particular thing. So what is this burger doing? Unless you see, now we should have a common platform. So now whatever I'm saying here, you should able to hear it out, and you should able to respond me back. So now this is the two-way communication. It should be there. Means you should able to understand and then reciprocate. Now humans have the language. Now we will talk Telugu, Tamil, Hindi, Marathi, Gujarati, Bengali. So whatever the languages we have it, so we know it, so that we can communicate with each other. Or if you means we will be having a common language to talk across the people. But now, how this can be communicated to the system? If I go and stand in front of a system and say that, hey, do this, can it do? So nowadays, yeah, Alexas and all these things are there to do it. But still, now can you go to your laptop and say that, hey, can you write a code? Or can you open a browser? If I say that, it will be opening. No, very soon it will comes into the picture, but still, now can we do it? So first of all, you need to understand that when you are trying to give an instruction to a computer, we should have a common language to us, so that it can perform that. Always remember that computers are dumb, they don't know anything. So now whatever the instructions we will be giving to them, based upon that particular instructions, they will start performing the things. Now what I'll try to do, I used to enter the username, password, click the login button, and then it should go to the home page. Now right, the same way. Now if I need to do the same activity in the code, I need to write the code for this. Hey, open the browser, enter the username, enter the password, click the button, go to the this home page. Now we will be seeing this all things, right? So now how this particular code will be writing it. So now we should have a language or instructions which it can give it to the computer. So for giving this particular instructions, we should have a language. So where we will write a program. So with that particular programming language, the computer can understand and it will perform that particular instructions. So this is called as a programming languages. So now what are the programming languages that are available in the market? So that is Java, C, C++, Python, C#. So these are different languages. Like I have Hindi, Marathi, Gujarati, Bengali, Telugu, Tamil, and Kannada. So now these all things are there, right? So these are human languages. These are computer languages, which are called programming languages. Very simple. Very simple. So we do have different languages. The same way, for to communicate the information for computer, we will have different languages. So those are the different languages which you are seeing it now. So now, in this particular programming languages, we do have two categories of programming languages. One is high level programming language, And then second one is low-level programming language. So now let's see why. Means now we were discussing about this. Okay, we were discussing about the types of programming. So now first of all, we understand what is a programming language. Programming language is nothing but giving an instructions to the computer to perform certain action. Okay, you define in your own words, boss. It's not to follow the same thing. Okay, now when it comes to the programming languages, so I think one of the white hat juniors okay, I shouldn't have been bring the name of the company, but one of the companies, the people are asking, hey, what do you meant by high level language or low level language? So first of all, you need to understand the basics very importantly. Now high level languages, so high level languages means, now high level language is a language, it can be understood by both the people, means both the sides. For an example, I went for Spain. I need to know the Spanish, right? So I wanted to talk, means when I wanted to talk to someone else, if someone knows the English, then it is means both two-way communications will happen. Now, if at all I don't have a Spanish guy, or if at all that guy don't know the Spanish, then I need to take a guy who can translate. I'll give an information box, say that I need to go this or I want this. Then this guy will communicate the same information to Spanish. Then that guy will be reciprocating to me. Now, what you need to understand here. So, if they both know something, they can directly communicate. If they don't know something, then they need to have a mediator to communicate, right? The same way, now high level languages are, it's a normal human readable language. Now example, now Java is a high level language. Now you can read this one, right? You're able to read this, right? So public class and the package names. I just shifted for some codes. uh, so now whatever the code which we have written, so that can be readable and then you can understand that. So now the high level languages are human readable languages. So then that is called as an high level language. Now low level languages are there. What do you mean by low level languages?
Mission understandable
Mission
language.
understandable language.
Only the mission can and understand that one. So now if you see here, now I do have all my codes have been written. I think I have. Hmm. So now for an example, I have been written the code. Now you all can read this one, right? Hey, package name, public class, ABS, and all these things you have been, you are able to read this code, right? OBJ June dot manual testing, basics testing, Maven. So you have been, you're trying to understand all these codes, right? Now, if at all, can you read this? Can you read this language? Are you understanding
No.
what it was? So
No,
this
sir.
is not readable by us. So now the same file. So now for an example, if I have been created a particular Java file, now the Java file, whatever we have been written here, so the Java file which we have been writing here. So just give me which account I need to log in. Okay, so now if you see here, now I have written my code. So now yesterday we have written that hello world code. Now this is the extension of Java file. So now this is a.java. Now what it will do is this a.java will be understandable by human. Now this code would be converted into a.class file. The same Java file, .java file convert into the class file. How this would be converted into means it will convert into the byte codes. Who will do this particular conversion to the byte codes means it's compiler. That is the purpose of a compiler. So compiler will do two things. One, it will checks whether the syntax means grammatic, means in English when you're talking, so you'll be looking for the grammatical mistakes, right? The same way, if at all there is any particular syntax mistakes in this particular Java file, it will identify that particular syntactical mistakes, and then next it will identify what means if it will convert this particular .java file into .class file. That converting, this is a responsibility of a compiler. Now if you see here, it converted this one. Will this particular byte class will go ahead? No. What it will try to do is it will try to give it to another component to Java, which is called JVM, Java Virtual Machine. Now what is this Java Virtual Machine will do is it consumes this particular byte code, and then it will convert this one into the low level language or machine language or assembly language. So it will convert into this particular language. Now what is this into this particular languages? We'll be seeing this. We'll be seeing in ones and zeros, because system can understand only the machine languages. If you say that, hey, system.println, now you have written the code, right? If you ask this one to, if you have written this one, so now will the system will understand? No. So for this one, this will convert this complete code into zeros and ones, and then it will give it to the operating system. Now this operating system or this platform, now this is the reason Java can be called as means platform independent. Platforms means we have Windows or Linux or Ubuntu or Mac, whatever the operating systems we do have it in the current market. You can write it in any of the platform and then execute in any of the platform. You see it? So normally I have written one particular Java class file. So now you can see it, right? So these all things are normal class files. Now this particular class file would be converted into .class files. And who will be converting this particular into the .class files is the compiler. So compiler responsibility is two. One, it will check the syntactical errors, and then next one, it will convert this particular .java file into .class file. So once it converts this particular .class file, it will give it to the JVM. So JVM is a Java virtual machine. What is the purpose of JVM is it consumes this particular bytecode file and convert into the low level language or machine language. It can be understandable by the operating system. So that's the reason it doesn't depend upon, means that's the reason Java is a platform independent, so that it can execute on Windows or Linux or in the Ubuntu or in the Mac. You got it right? So that is the reason it was saying that portability and versatile. So the Java is portable and then versatile. Anywhere it can go and execute it. So now when you have been created a particular project here into this particular project, so if you just given the right click, so in the right click, you can see the properties. If you go to these particular properties, now here in the resources, so directly it will show, it will give you the path where this particular project is stored. So if you click on this particular button, so now you go to this particular project. Now if you see here under source, you have written this particular Java files, right? Now all these particular Java files you have been written. Now the same demo.java, now you see it here in generics, it was there, right? So now bin com Amazon generics, you see method underscore demo.class. So the same Java file converted into the class file, and then that particular class file would be given to the JVM. So JVM consumes and then converted to this low level language. So this is the reason. So Java is called as a platform independent, and then it can be executed anywhere or any place. Any questions here? Any questions?
So what is the bytecode?
If you wanted to see now, that is one of the conversion. So where it can it will split up. It will split up this particular thing. So if you wanted to see, the difference between a bytecode and actually it will slightly confuse you, but as you asked for, I'll try to give an explanation for that. You're able to see this one. I think it was distorting, but just try to see it. You see it? Bytecode is an intermediate code. Okay, so you understand here, bytecode is an intermediate code designed to run on the virtual machine instead of on the process. Okay, on the processor. Now, when you see in here, I told you right now. I talked about this particular diagram, right? Now you see here. Now this is my source code. Means here I have written a Java file. Now that Java file given to Java compiler, which is Java C. The compiler will convert into the bytecode. Now what it will happen for this particular bytecode is, it is an intermediate place where it will take, it will convert that particular code and run it on the virtual machine. Super. It runs on the virtual machine. So it means usually this particular code should be running on processors. Processor means you have your processor, right? So you can go for this. You can see it, right? Your processor, Intel Core i7, 2.6 gigahertz. We will be having it, right? Directly, this particular thing has to run on this particular processor. But what it will try to do is, it will not run on that particular processor. This will execute on this particular Java virtual machine. In Java virtual machine, it consists of multiple steps. It have class loader, bytecode verifier, JIT compiler. JIT means just-in-time compiler. So now this code will comes inside, and then it will come as a native code as zeros and ones. Now your question is, hey, why we need to have an intermediate a conversion? Directly we can convert it into this native language, but it is not, because this Java, this is designed as, this is the architectural design. Now when you have written a code that should convert into the bytecode, and that bytecode need to give it to the virtual machine, and from that virtual machine you'll be getting it. Now how the bytecode looks, I open and shown you, right? So this is the bytecode. So now this byte means, like, this is a second level filtration. So now this is a first conversion, first level conversion, which it has been done. Example now, see now, for example, cleaning process is there for a sugarcane. So what I'll do, first I'll clean here. Second, once again I'll clean here, and then I'll squeeze this, right? The same way, now what they have done is, this is a first level conversion, and then here the second level conversion they are doing it. Why they have did it for 2 times, they can do it 1 time, means that's the architecture. So that is the way they have been designed this particular Java. Okay, now if you wanted to know more about, hey, what is the basic, the differences between the low level language and the bytecode, means you need to know that, hey, what is the difference between this particular bytecode and then this mission code? The differences you should know, right? So now before JVM we will get the bytecode. This is the input for the JVM, and this is the output for the JVM, the machine language. Now you wanted to know the differences between this particular machine code and the bytecode. So this is where we can see it. Okay, so you can have, in the first statement itself, they have been very clearly given. It is an intermediate code designed to run on the virtual machine. It is talking about the Java virtual machine. Okay, so that is the reason I said, so it might be a slightly confusion. If you want interested to know, then I'll share this particular picture. You can just go through that particular thing. So usually that's the reason what we will say in the session is, hey, it converts into the bytecode. So which is like this. I opened the class file. You can see it, demo.class file. So this is a bytecode given to the JVM so that it converts into the low level language. So where it will show that a low level language, that we will not have it. So internally it will do it, and it will do proceed further with it. There is a difference
actually,
between
actually I thought like we call it as zeros and ones as bits, right? And as it's become larger, we'll allocate the memory in terms of bytes. So I thought bytecode itself as zeros and ones. So that's why I got confused.
Are you clear
Now
now?
it is, yeah, yeah. Now it is clear. So bytecode is different, and low-level language, it's just machine code is different.
Yes. So if you wanted to have more information, I can share you that picture. Bytecode versus machine code. Last time, I think for one of the session I have been given. If you go and see the video, you can have that information also in the videos.
Oh,
Okay, coming back to here now. So hope everyone understood that how Java works. Now, if someone asks you, hey, what is the working of Java? So now it is very simple. Now we write our code java.file. So now you in your Eclipse, you write all your codes, right? Now this is the Java file, right? You have written all your code. Now that code would be converted into the bytecode, which is the a dot class. Now who converts that one? The responsibility is a compiler, Java C compiler. It also checks the syntax, and then it also converts the file into the bytecode, and then that bytecode given to the Java virtual machine. So Java virtual machine will have a class loader, bitcode verifier, and JIT compiler. These all things did I need to remember? No, but at least you need to remember class file will given to the compiler. Compiler converts the bytecode. Bytecode given to the virtual machine. Virtual machine will put it into the native machine, native language. So this is what it will happen. At least this workflow you should able to understand. Any questions here? So now by seeing this one, you can understand that what is the difference between a high level language and a low level language. Low level languages are zeros and ones, and high level languages are human readable languages, and it can be communicated to the system by converting into the low level languages. Now, when you have the high level languages, you will be segregated into the object oriented programming and the procedural languages. So here the object oriented means the complete language will revolve around an object. So what is an object? What is an object? What is an object?
Object is instance of class. Like a class is like a fruit, and object is apple, banana.
See, one thing, Padmaja. So now object is a real-time entity first. So now when it's a real-time entity means, example, you
just
take a, please go on mute. So when you see in front of you, you're seeing your laptop, or you're seeing some water bottles nearby, and you're seeing your mobile phone, and you're seeing some Apple, or you're seeing some watches and AC remote, or you're seeing some whatever the perfumes. You are seeing all around whatever you can physically touch and feel. So that is called an object, right? That's a basic. So these all things are called as an object: table, chair, remote, TV, and laptop, headset, wireless headset. So these all things are called as an objects only, right? So the complete programming language will revolve around an object. Then see, now first thing you need to know that object is an real-time entity. An object is an instance of a class. What is this instance of a class? What is a class? Always we are talking about it. Don't worry. I'll talk about these things when we go for the oops in detail. But you need to understand that the Java is a object oriented programming language. I told you, right? Java is a very structured language. Why it is so structured means because of this object oriented implementation. And mark my word, if you learn what is object oriented, remaining all other languages are also same, because the concepts of object oriented would be common around any language. This concept is same. Example, now we were talking about this particular slide. So now here we will be seeing that inheritance concept. Okay, so overall when it is oops, in oops we do have four topics. One is polymorphism, encapsulation, abstraction, and inheritance. Inheritance means what? Hey, I got inherited property. Means my great grandfather have 10 acres of land. So my great grandfather given my grandfather, and my grandfather increased that 10 acres to 20 acres, and then that 20 acres given by my father. My father increased that 20 acres to 25 acres, and that 25 acres has been given to me. So now I'll be increasing that 25 acres to 30 acres or 40 acres. Now this is, see, now if you see here, the inheriting property, it's not that it need to be increased. Even that 10 acres, whatever my great grandfather have it, so that 10 acres has been given for my grandfather. and 10 acres given for my father, and I'll be getting that 10 acres. Now, if you see here, that is the inherited property, right? So there would be some houses. So in our villages, hey, this is my grandfather's estate and my father's estate, and I'm staying here. So now that is an inherited property, right? The same way, every classes will have an inheritance, and that particular properties will belongs to the child, parent child relationship, and then that they can access their particular parent class methods. So those all things are called as inheritance. Now it is simple, right? Now this concept, either you take Java, either you take C sharp, anywhere the concept is same. The implementation, see, now for an example, in Java I'll say that extends, but in C sharp I'll use a separate code. In .NET I'll use separate word. That's it. But everywhere inheritance concept is same. See, now you will be saying it, right? uh, I call this one as lemon. What you call this one in your language, I also call lemon, or I'll be calling this one with the nimbu. So it depends upon the language. So it, but it is same, nothing big difference. So the language changes, but the way you use or the way you call slightly varies, but the functionality of that one is same, right? So now that is where, if you learn the oops concepts in Java, then that would be very easier in other languages. That is where I told you, right? So if you learn Java here, then that would be much more easier in other languages to learn for it. Okay, so that is how this would be acted upon, the oops. Okay, cool. Now the other topics we do have: polymorphism, encapsulation, abstraction. So about these particular topics in detail we will discuss about it, because so these are by nature it will take 2-3 hours per session, and the implementation itself, it takes a good amount of time. So now you need to understand that Java is a OOPS supported language, means object oriented programming language. Now with this one we do have lot of reusability. Means, for an example, now if you buy something, if you have a lot of reusability, you will be feeling very happy, right? The same way, now with the help of this particular oops concept, if I write the code once, I can use that one for multiple purposes and multiple ways. So that is the advantage of the oops concepts. Okay, so what you need to understand now, hey, I didn't understand what is this abstraction, encapsulation, polymorphism, or here I didn't even told you that. So first you need to understand only one pointer in this introduction, that hey, Java is supported with the oops oriented, means object oriented programming language, or Java is an object oriented programming language. Now what is this object oriented programming language? That is what our curriculum, where we will talk about in detail. So just you need to at least now what you need to understand is it supports oops. So that's the pointer which we need to understand. And next one is, you take any domain, or retail domain, information, you take any particular domains, healthcare or hospitals, if it is for HR domain, you take any particular banking, fintech, any domain you take, in all the domains Java is used, either in the stock marketing or in the banking, any applications which we are developing for any particular domains, so Java is used. And what are the companies it can be used? So there are so many companies, there are n number of companies they are using it. Example, they have been mentioned it as Google, Philips, Capital One, Accenture, Uber, Yelp. So these are the people, so we are using Java. But there are some, not even thousands, lakhs, crores of companies are using the Java. So Java is everywhere. It's not specifically we have been using for Selenium or somewhere else, but this can be used it for any particular places you can use on this. Now if you see here, where Java can write the code, see, now I need to write some place, right? Somewhere else I need to write my code. So now I know Java, now I wanted to write the code, where I need to write. So that's the reason I'll be having different IDEs, integrated development environments. Now, what is this particular IDEs? So IDEs are nothing but See, IDE. So what is, yes, I am getting some echo. Okay. So what is this IDE? Integrated Development Environment. For an example, now I wanted to write something. What I'll use in good olden days, I'll be using Slate. Okay. And then now I later on I have been used my books. Then I'll be using the boards, whiteboards or blackboards. Will be using it. So now I have been preferred this particular online board where I can write it in my computer and then I can show it to you. Now the same way, where I should write my Java, I should have some space to write, right? So for this one, they have been given not only for Java, for any language. For any language, if you wanted to write onto the computer and then explain to the computer, give the instructions to the computer, you should have some environment. So that is called integrated development environment. Why it is called as integrated? So now first development. I write the code. So that is the reason I called it as a development environment. But why it is called as integrated? So what I'll try to do, I'll compile my code. I'll write my code. First, I'll develop my code, compile my code, execute my code, debug my code, and then get the results. All these things can be happen in one place. So this is integrated. All things are integrated in one place. So this is the reason it is called as integrated development environment. And then this is called IDEs. There are multiple IDEs in the market, but apart from this particular multiple IDEs, so I'll be using this particular IDEs for specifically for Java, because for Java, what are the IDEs we are using? NetBeans, IntelliJ, Eclipse, and Android Studios. Throughout this particular, we can use any of these particular IDEs, but for our training purposes or the training, we'll be using Eclipse. Eclipse is an IDE, and this is completely an open source tool. So very widely used across the globe to generate the Java code. If I wanted to use Python, I can use it. Probably we have PyCharm, another particular editor which I can use it. If I wanted to write Ruby, I have Ruby mine. I'll be writing there. If I wanted to write my C# code, okay, I can use my Visual Studios. Or if I wanted to write JavaScript, I can use Visual Studios code. So every language can written in multiple IDEs based upon its popularity. So now Java have these particular IDEs. Around this particular IDE, we chosen the Eclipse to write the code. Now you understand why we are using or why we need to install Eclipse. So now once you install this particular Eclipse, now everything would be helpful for you. So now see, for an example, now I come here and then just I have been given dot. Now you see here, it gives me artificially this auto suggestions it will be giving to me. So now this particular auto suggestion, I can select any of these particular methods, means that will help me to write anything. See, now if I go and write here, something I have been written here. If I click dot, it will populate me anything. I need to write practice manually. I need to write it. So now there are a lot of disadvantages. Now here, if you see here, I can write my code and I can compile my code and I can execute my code. You can see that if I started executing this code, so I can execute this one and then I can get that answer, means the values also for this one. See, now executed, I got my output also here. So I write the code, I compile the code. Compiling means what? Checking the syntactical errors, converting into the bytecode. So compilation is done, execution is done, results also done. So this is the reason this is called as an IDE, integrated development environment, which you can see on it. Got it? So now these are the IDEs. Out of this IDE, we have been chosen for the Eclipse. Now, what are the Java, means where are the Java applications are used? Any web applications. Now you are seeing multiple web applications. Hope you have been part of what are the different type of applications we do have. One tier architecture, two tier architecture, three tier architecture, four tier, five tier architectures, right? So desktop and standalone applications, two tier means client and server applications, web applications, network distributed applications, and mobile applications. For any of these particular applications, this will support, the Java will be supporting for you. So now you can see that web applications and the frameworks. Now, for an example, now we have been developed all these things. So for writing any particular things, you would be having a different type of frameworks will be creating it. Now you see here, now we have been created the automation framework, test automation framework. This is for Android, this is for API, this is for desktop, this is for web pages. Like this, we have been developed a different category of frameworks, and for all that particular frameworks, this can be used. Means with the help of Java, what are the applications we can develop? Anything we can develop. Android phones, you have Android operating system, right? So Android operating system, Android apps, everything would be done in the Android development. Continuous integration, big data. So these are different technologies, different type of applications. So for all these applications, we are using the Java to support for that. So this is the reason. Means it can support for any particular applications. See, now what is the basic purpose we are having these all things is, we are just talking about, hey, why to use Java, or what is the importance of Java. So that is what we are trying to discuss. Now, apart from this one, what is the other best advantages? Tons and tons of resources and community support. Community support means, see, now throughout the globe, we don't even no need to met each other, know each other. But when you have the problem, these all people will there to support you, help you when you have particular problem. So Java is present everywhere. So present in everywhere, that can it support for particular problem, so it can check and then it can let us know. See, and I told you, right? So this is an omnipresent. Omnipresent means it is widely and constantly encountered, widespread. So now we use this particular term even in Corona. So it is an omnipresent. So now because it's a widespread, it was happened, right? The same thing. So Java is like a widespread. So across the globe, anyone, there are lot of forums, lot of supports we have. And imagine that if one day if the Google is not working, none of the people can work on. You take any expert, even any Java expert, so definitely they will be depending upon the Google to understand and then know about it, what it was happening. The most prominent one is Stack Overflow. If Stack Overflow is not there, all the developer lives would be ruined off. So Stack Overflow is a forum where you can post all your questions and then get the answers there. There will be a lot of people, some thousands and some not thousands, some crores of people who has been posted them their questions into that and get answered to that. Okay, even you also, you can just log in and then you can give the answer if you know about it. So that is where you Java have extensive community support and forum supports. So if you stuck at any particular problem, you just imagine that if at all you do have any particular problems, which if you have a problem, you search for a Google, you didn't get the answer. Now what you will do it? You get stuck. So if you go with the new languages, that is a problem. So for them, as it is a new, we don't have, if we stuck in that languages, we may not have the solutions for that. So that is the reason always the people will prefer to go with an expertise which is a widespread in the market. So they will prefer that particular languages into this. So that is the reason. So Java will be chosen first. Now, the other advantage is it's Java EE, Enterprise Edition, and its rich APIs. Now, actually speaking, so I'll just skip on this particular slide for you because it will be slightly confused for you people, because it talks about the APIs and how the APIs will be there and how it will be connected and then talk to it. So just skip on that slide. I'll talk as the situation comes and when I explain there. Now, the next one is the most important thing is once upon a time the Java is an open source, not now. So for the versions which we are using now, so those versions are open source, and the new versions now they have been made it as a commercial. New versions of Java, it was made commercial. So that's the reason we are still using 1.8, means Java 8 we are using it now. Java 14 7 means a 17 18 also released now. So those things are in a commercial version, but still whatever the old versions of Java, that is still in the community version. So we always remember that open source. What do you mean by open source? Open source means free, free. We can use that particular language for free of cost. But what is commercial? Commercial means when you wanted to use a particular thing, so you'll be paying. So for example, now you wanted to use any particular rented house, you'll pay the rent for that house. The same way, for using this particular Java, you need to pay that. Then that is called commercial. Now this is open source. Open source means it is a free of cost. So they no need to pay for any money for that. So why they have been converted into commercial? So because they used to have more than 4 or 5 billions of users. You know, right? Billions, 100 billions make 1 billion. Okay, so now 1 million equal to 10 lakhs. So like that, they have 5-6 billion users across the globe. Then they thought that okay, across 5 billion users, if they have been converted 10 lakh users into the commercial version, also they will learn a lot. So they have their own strategies. I don't want to talk about it. But so previous means whatever the versions we are using it, so that versions are, it's a open source free of cost. Now, and this is a platform independent language. Now we talked about this, right? Ora, write once and read anywhere. So anywhere you can use it and then you can run it. And the best part of it is concurrent, means it can run the parallel activities. What is sequential activities and parallel activities? Sequential activities means one after one. If I do the things, then it is called sequential. Now at a time, if I do the multitasking, I can listen the videos, I can write the code, and I can give the support for some people. So this is a multitasking, right? So now Java is a multitasking supported, multi-threading concept supported language. So that's a concurrent support it can provide for it. Now you've seen it, right? So these all things are advantages, and the best advantage for us in terms of the testing is Selenium can be implemented. We know, right? Selenium is a web UI automation tool. So now this particular web UI automation tool, it is popular in the market. Now this language, this particular tool can be supported with, if it is still 3.141.59, it was supporting for 7 languages. Now the latest version of Selenium is 4.4.0 alpha. Now for this particular version, so it supports for 13 languages. Out of this particular 13 languages, Java was very popular, so that the opportunities, the job opportunities are also very more. So that is the reason everyone started to learn Selenium with Java. See, even we can learn with Selenium with C Sharp, Selenium with Ruby, Selenium with Python. All these things are also there, right? Why we need to learn only Selenium with Java? Why can't we learn with Selenium with Python or C Sharp? Only the reason because so the opportunities are more, because now the same advantages the companies also look after, right? Hey, if I choose in this one, if I choose in Ruby, can I get the resources in the market? Can I we have a lot of resources? Can I have the advantages of the languages, portability and all? So these all things was won by Java. So that's the reason, if someone is implementing in the market with Selenium Java, so approximately it was coming around 90 percentage of the people would be using Selenium with Java, and out the 10 percentage is there, right? So that 10 percentage was taken care by other languages. But most prominent is Selenium with Java, Selenium with Java, and then Selenium with Python, probably 5 percentage, Selenium with C Sharp, another 3 percentage, and remaining all other languages with 2 percentage. You see it, 95, 3, 2. So this would be the market split up. So now you understand why we need to learn Selenium Java. And so boss, I wanted to know Selenium, right? Why I should learn Java? So now all the institutes and all the people, first we have completed the manual testing for last 45 days, right? Approximately 45 days we has been spent on the manual testing. Each and every concepts we have been discussed now, right? Now this one, then I need to jump for Selenium, right? Why I should learn Java? See, if you learn Java, exactly 3 to 4 days or maximum 5 days, you can complete Selenium. But without learning Java, if you go to Selenium, you can't even know or you can't even learn. This is like, I don't know ABCs, okay, but I can write the paragraphs. No, I know, write the paragraphs. If you say that I don't know Java, but I know Selenium, See, it is very simple to identify whether someone knows Java or not. There are very simple questions. No need to ask them big questions at all. If you ask one basic question, see, usually last year I used to do the interviews. I did more than 1200 plus interviews. We shortlisted only 3 to 4 people when I work for a company. And for the QA box, when we have done within 3 months, we have been done more than 3,800 people interviews. We have been taken 6 people. You see the range, because it is very simple to gauge a candidate whether they know the Java or not. Because if you're not telling me what is this ABC, if you say that I created framework, I written the framework, and I did done this all, because we are in industry for 17 years and we are hardcore means developing this particular codes and frameworks and everything. You're coming and telling to me, but still just we will give us a simple smile and say that boss, come. Exactly within 5 minutes of a time, we can gauge the people saying that they are real-time experience or not. Because I simply ask them, tell me what is JVM, GRE, JDK, or tell me what is an object creation. See, if you're not able to explain that, if you say these all things, boss, I know, excellent, I everything, whatever the question I ask, I don't know this one, but I know other things. That we can't believe it, right? So that's the reason this particular course we will purely concentrating more from the Java point of view. From the basics, we will make it very clear from the scratch. You don't need to know about any coding language. I'm telling you, right? You follow and then you do the exercises every day what we given, and I'm exactly telling in 1 month time you see whatever the code you wanted to write, you will write it and then throw it on my face. But this 1 month you need to follow what I'm saying, and it changes your complete life. But if you're coming up with the various reasons, my laptop is not working, and I do have some laptop issues, I need to have a leave, and this I'm telling you, right? You can say 999 reasons to not to do a work, but there would be one reason to do this. So that's the reason will change your life. I'm telling you, right? So I don't even know means whoever my students are, because they will be connecting from different places, and I don't even ask them about their backgrounds, or I don't even know. Just I know their names. Many people have been working in different bigger companies. So previously they don't even know what is a basic things. I'm telling you, right? I have seen pharmaceutical people or organic chemistry background, and many people comes with a, they don't even know what is coding, what is Java. They don't, and it's a complete contrasting. You tell me, for a pharmaceutical students or for agricultural students or from organic chemistry students, will Java relate at any point of time? The laptop or computer itself is a new thing for them. Now they are the key resources in the companies who are working on. Exactly in 6 months of time, 6 months to 1 year, they settle down in their jobs. Now their complete career, you know, I've seen the people who completed their PhD in organic chemistry. They used to have for around 20,000. 20,000 is a maximum. That's a fate of our country. Okay, so we celebrated 75 years. Great. Now 20,000 rupees for they are working for a PhD graduate who is on the organic chemistry, who is a junior scientist level. Now I'm not trying to do anything. I'm not degrading anyone here. Now they change their career, and now they're earning more, near into 1 lakh within the span of 6 months. See, now I was feeling very bad that, you see, I want to do my PhD, which is not at all possible for me. Doing my masters itself, it's a big deal, and I tried for PhD and I have been stopped in the middle. For 24 years or 25 years, they have been struggled and learned. We are not able to provide the right opportunities or the right jobs for the people. When you got an opportunity, use them it wisely. And I'm telling you, right, whatever the late nights you're spending, whatever the amount of efforts you're spending, these are the stones for your careers. And don't do the things for my sake. Hey, this guy will ask me, so that's the reason I need to do. No. Someone will be monitoring, because of them I need to do. No. So there will be some people Who has been degraded you? Or some people may say that, hey, this is not at all possible by you, man. See, if someone sees me, whoever my schoolmates or anyone, they will not even believe me that I can pass my 10th standard. Now, see, why I'm saying these all things is I personally feel that. So many people say that, hey, this is not your cup of tea. And myself, I used to feel that this is not my cup of tea. But when I started, hey, now I need to do this or die. So when I feel that we can do anything. And I'm saying you right, just bear for 1 month. And it is not so easy. I'm saying it right. So staying for this 1 month, doing all this exercise every day, you need to do it. Every day you need to come and show it. And always I prick you, I poke you, definitely, for sure. For sure, I'll poke you for all the people, because all these days it's a manual testing. So there is no that particular pressure, but definitely from Monday you'll see that. And many people, I told you right, we used to start with 80, but end of the day it comes around 14. All people will drop because of this particular things. Every day that you need to do, every day you need to do it, because until that, who comes out of this people, I'm telling you right. So these are the key people. The job may not be so necessity for us, but out of all 50 people, for 4 to 5 people, that is really really very important. And a job can change their family. Means not only that, means that particular person, their complete family and next generations also. So please, see, if you're not interested, perfectly fine, you people can drop off, but don't distract the classes and don't waste the class times, because that particular every minute which you are getting it now, this I was bringing out from my family and then I'm giving it to you. So now my kids are waiting for me, my family is waiting for me, but still I'm spending for you people that I have wanted to give it. So when I have been given this importance for the time, so please don't waste this and use effectively and then do it. I'm sorry that I have been slightly diverted, but I wanted to keep you posted that if you're really serious, then continue, because we know, right? So we will not charge a single pipe. Why? Because when we started our careers, we used to struggle like anything. So because we don't know what to do, what to learn, what are the things we need to do. I'll tell for every batch, hey, if someone has been guided us in a proper way, we will be learning a lot of things. We used to struggle a lot to learn this, but when you have this opportunity, use them appropriately, don't misuse it. Okay, I'm sorry I have been deviated, but however, so that ends the introduction of the Java. So from Monday, I wanted to see everyone's into the laptops installation of Eclipse, and then installation of Java. Everything should be there, and then it should be used. Okay, so as usual, Monday from 10 to 11 usually we have the sessions. And I think the course content already it has been shared by Pina, right? So we'll accurately follow on this. Now what I wanted you people to do by Monday is, I wanted you people to go to W3 schools. In the W3 schools, we need to go for Java. And when you go for this W3 schools Java, here you can have this. So now here what I wanted to see you is how to write a comment and what are variables. Now you can just come here, you can just
Sure.
go here to the
Variable
variables.
command LRI.
Guys, can you please go on mute? So now once you have been seen here, now this is a variables, right? Now you can just read on here, or you can have the video on the same YouTube channel, you can see it. So here I wanted to see that you people need to start writing what is a variable and how I need to define a string and I need to print it, and a number, print it. So now these all simple activities are there. Example, print it. So this is integers and all. So I need to know from you people to do the variables and print all these particular variables. So now this pure all 4 sections you need to do it, and then come back on Monday and then show to me on it. And the data types, variables and the data types is the topic which we are going to talk on Monday. And these 2 things are available in the videos, so that see, complete it. You should show me this implementation on Monday. That's it for the day. It's already delayed. I need to jump for another meeting. I'm sorry. Okay. See you all on Monday morning. Thank you. Take care. And
Thank
sorry,
you,
I
Krish.
missed your
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Bye, sir.
Thank you, Sandeep.
Chair, Monday